Good evening and thank you for tuning into this video. So today we were working on multiplying fractions and mixed numbers and word problems. Tonight I want to show you how to divide fractions. If you like multiplying fractions, you're also going to like dividing fractions. So my first example is 8/3 divided by 1/3. I want to first explain what this looks like picture-wise. So I have 8/3 divided by 1/3, okay? So 8/3 is just 2 2/3. So I'm going to go ahead and make a number line. This is 1, this is 2, and then how about this can be 2 2/3, which is the same as 8/3. Okay? Now, I want to divide by 1/3. So before I do that, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to divide up each of these wholes, so each of these segments into 3 parts. So this is 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or 1. This is 1 1/3, this is 1 2/3, this is 2, this is 2 1/3, and 2 2/3. Okay? So let's think about this. We have 8/3 divided by 1/3. 8/3 divided by 1/3 pretty much just means how many jumps will it take for me, to get from 0 to 8/3 if I have jumps of 1/3? Okay? In other words, how many times does 1/3 go into 8/3? So I can actually just count this. So here's 1/3, here's 1 jump, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it takes me 8 jumps to get from 0 to 8/3 when each jump is 1/3. Okay? In other words, 8/3 divided by 1/3, 1/3 goes into 8/3 8 times. And I can literally just count that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So each of these jumps are 1/3. Let's look at another example. Let's look at 8/3 divided by 2/3. So 8/3 divided by 2/3, same thing. I want to know how many times does 2/3 go into 8/3. So I can draw myself a diagram like last time. Here's my 0. Here's my 1. Here's my 2. And let's say here's my 2 2/3 or 8/3. Okay? Again, I'm going to divide each of these segments into 3 sections, or divide it into thirds. Now I want to figure out how many times does 2/3 go into 8/3. In other words, how many jumps will it take me until I get to 2 2/3, or how many jumps will it take me to get from 0 to 8/3 if each jump is 2/3? So let's count that. If each jump is 2/3, so 1, 2, this is my first jump. My second jump is another 2/3, 1, 2, so this is my second jump. My third jump is another 2/3, so this is my third and 4. So it takes me 4 jumps, if each jump is 2/3, in order to get from 0 to 8/3. In other words, 2/3 goes into 8/3 4 times. See? Oops, let me just get my... So 8/3 divided by 2/3 is equal to 4. So if you look, it takes me 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps to get to 8/3. In other words, 2/3 go into 8/3 4 times. Now, luckily, there is a rule that you can use for division. You actually don't have to do this jumping thing every time you do a division problem. To divide fractions, I just have to multiply the second fraction by the reciprocal. Look over here at this example, 8/3 divided by 2/3. 8/3 divided by 2/3 is just the same as 8/3 times the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of a fraction is the fraction turned upside down. So the reciprocal of 2/3 is just 3/2. Okay? So this is the same as this. Now here we know how to multiply. When I multiply 8 over 3 times 3 over 2, I just get 24 over 6, which gives me 4. This answer corresponds to my little graph here because 2/3 goes into 8/3 4 times. In other words, it takes me 4 leaps to get from 0 to 8/3, with each leap being 2/3 of a unit. So we can come up, so we have a rule for dividing fractions. To divide a fraction, so I would highlight this rule right here or underline it. To divide fractions, you just have to multiply the second fraction by the reciprocal. The reciprocal, in non-mathematical terms, is just the fraction turned upside down. So basically, I take the second fraction, turn it upside down, and then multiply. So let's look at 3 over 5 divided by 7 over 8. 3 over 5 divided by 7 over 8 is just the same as 3 over 5 times the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 7 over 8 is just 8 over 7. So once again, to divide this, I changed my division to a multiplication symbol, and then I flipped the second fraction. So when you're dividing, you always have to flip the second fraction. Don't flip the first one, flip the second one. So now my problem is 3 over 5 times 8 over 7, and we could solve these pretty easily. I multiply 3 times 8 together, I get 24, and then 5 times 7 is 35. So 24 over 35 is my final answer. Let's look at a few more. Let's look at the problem on the next page. Here is a little different. Here we have a fraction divided by a whole number. So same thing. I'm going to want to write the whole number as a fraction. So my 3/4 divided by 5 is just going to be 3 over 4 divided by 5 over 1. Now I just apply my rules of division. So again, to divide a fraction, I change my division to a multiplication symbol, and then I multiply by the reciprocal. So I flip the second number. So my this should be 3 over 4. I wrote that down wrong. That should be 3 over 4. So in other words, to divide, I should have 3/4 times the reciprocal of 5 over 1. So my problem is now 3 over 4 times 1 over 5. Okay? Now, since I found the reciprocal of 5 over 1, I just have to now multiply across. 3 times 1 is 3, and then 4 times 5 is 20. So my answer is 3 over 20. So just to summarize, I first made my whole number into a fraction, and then when I'm doing division, what I do is I change the division to a multiplication symbol, and then I multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. So I flip the second fraction upside down. So my 5 over 1 becomes 1 over 5. Okay, let's try one more example. Here, I bet you could already guess what to do. We have two mixed numbers divided by each other. Now, to divide mixed numbers, this is similar to multiplying mixed numbers. I have to first change both of my mixed numbers into improper fraction. So for this example, to change 3 1/4 into an improper fraction, I do 3 times 4, which is 12, plus 1 is 13. So 3 1/4 is actually 13 over 4. So I have 13 over 4 divided by 2 2/3. I'm also going to change my 2 2/3 into an improper fraction. To do that, I do 2 times 3, which is 6, plus 2, which gives me 8. So 8 is my numerator, and then 3 is my denominator. Now I just have to apply my rules of division. So to divide one fraction by another, I'm going to multiply the first fraction by the reciprocal of the second fraction. In other words, I keep the first fraction the same. I make my division symbol multiplication symbol, and then I'm going to flip the second fraction. So it's going to be 13 over 4 times 3 over 8. So I just flipped the 8 over 3 upside down. Now I just have to multiply my numerators and denominators. 13 times 3 is 39. 4 times 8 is just 32. So my answer is 39 over 32. I don't want to leave it like that though. I want to convert this into a mixed number. So I do 39 divided by 32. 32 goes into 39 one time. 1 times 32 is 32. And I get a remainder of 7. So my final answer is going to be 1. So that's my whole number. My remainder of 7 is going to be my numerator for my fraction part. And I'm going to keep my denominator of 32. So my answer is 1 and 7 over 32. Okay, that's it. I hope you have a good day, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget to do the practice problems. God bless you.